Hello, I am Hakon, and welcome to all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados for yet another episode of the Citadel of Chaos. Now, the Citadel of Chaos, I've tried this twice now. The first time I died quite early on. I got imprisoned in the Citadel for life, presumably. And the second time, I managed to get quite a bit further along, but I still felt like there was something missing. I do believe that I have a very good path in the beginning. It certainly seems like the right one, or very close to the right one. So I will do something similar in the beginning, and then I will make a slightly different choice as I get into the Citadel and see if I get somewhere interesting, somewhere new, somewhere where there might be things that can help me win the game. Perhaps I actually went the right path the last time, almost, but I don't know yet. So that's the exciting thing about playing fighting fantasy game books. You choose different paths, different things happen, and even if it isn't the right one, it's always interesting, exciting, and fun. So, without too much further ado, I will get my things ready and get ready to play another session of The Citadel of Chaos by Steve Jackson. Run number 3. Exciting stuff. Right, I am back. I got my pen, paper, dice, and book ready. I hope this is not too far away from the action for you. I've got everything I need ready, and I'm making a new character sheet today because last time I reused it once because there was hardly anything on it. Today I will make new stats and see how that goes. I may reroll if it's too bad, but so far it doesn't seem like the stats have been that important. More important is to find the right path and choose the right spells. Very often I've noticed you actually are given the choice of spells that do not work, so that's quite interesting. Most of the time, most of the options you get for using spells are things that do not work. Right, skill, reasonably good. That's 12. Stamina, probably just fine at 18. Luck, probably okay at 10. And magic, 17. So that's pretty good. Spells. So I shall pick my spells. I was wondering maybe I should make a sort of character sheet for this, because what you could do with a character sheet for this game is to you could just include a list of all the different spells, and then you got a little box where you can put the number. Anyway, so creature copy. Of course, if you have creature copy, you don't need to fight that much necessarily. ESP, I'll just list all of them now. Fire, Fool's Gold, Illusion, Levitation, Luck, Shielding, Skill, Stamina, Strength, Weakness. And I shall choose. I got 17 I need to take with me. I'm going to take 3 stamina, 1 skill, 1 luck, 2 shielding, 1 weakness, 2 strength, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 levitation, 1 illusion, 2 Fool's Gold, 1 fire, 1 ESP, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 17, so I have to change something now. Maybe if I go with One shielding. Fool's Gold seemed very useful. Maybe not that useful. Maybe I'll just do one. Shielding, I'll do one. Strength didn't seem that useful. I'll do 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And 3 creature copy. Okay, does that sound okay? Okay. And of course, in this one, there are no provisions, there are no potions, or at least not from the start. I did find a potion last time, which was interesting. Right, so that's my starting character, and I am ready to go. Oh, bit of an itch there. So I shall start from the very beginning, actually. It's a very good place to start, because, you know, when you read, just begin with A, B, C, and when you sing, you begin with Do, Re, Mi, and when you play fighting fantasy, you start with history. At least that's what it's called here. History, yes. So, the lawful good folk of the Vale of Willow have lived for some 8 years in awe and fear of the demi-sorcerer Baltus Dire. In awe, since his power is truly awesome, and in fear, ever since word leaked from his domain that his ambitious plans of conquest were to commence with the Vale itself. A faithful half-elf sent on a spying mission to the Black Tower came galloping back to the Vale 3 days ago with a frantic warning. From within the caverns of Crag and Rock, Baltus Dire had recruited an army of chaotics, and was preparing them to attack the Vale within the week. The good King Solomon was a man of action. Messengers were sent throughout the Vale that day to prepare defences and to summon the menfolk to action. Riders had also been sent to the great forest of Yor to warn the half-elves that lived there and to make an appeal for allied forces. King Solomon was also a wise man. He knew well that the news would inevitably reach the Grand Wizard of Yor, a white sorcerer of great power, who lived deep within the forest. The wizard was old and would not last through a battle of this magnitude, but he schooled a number of young magicians, and perhaps one of his students in the magic arts with courage and ambition would aid the king and his subjects. You are the star pupil of the Grand Wizard of Yor. He has been a difficult master, and your own impatience has often got the better of you. Perhaps a little too headstrong, you left immediately for Solomon's court. The king welcomed you enthusiastically and explained his plan. The battle could be avoided without bloodshed if Baltus were to be assassinated before his army could be amassed. The mission ahead of you is extremely perilous. Baltus Dire is surrounded in his citadel by a multitude of appalling creatures. Although magic is your strongest weapon, there will be times when you must rely on your sword to survive. King Solomon has briefed you on your mission and warned you of the dangers that lie ahead. One way through the citadel is the best for you to take. If you discover it, you will be successful with a minimum of personal risk. It may take you several trips to find the easiest way through. You leave the Vale of Willow on the long hike to the Black Tower. At the foot of the hill of Crag and Rock, you can see its outline against the dark sky. Now turn over. Right, now we get back to these two charming creatures. The sun sets. As twilight turns to darkness, you start your climb up the hill towards the forbidding shape silhouetted against the night sky. The citadel is less than an hour's climb. Some distance from its walls you stop to rest, a mistake, as it seems a fearful spectre from which there is no escape. The hairs on your neck prickle as you look towards it. But you're ashamed of your fears. With grim resolve you march onwards towards the main gate, where you know guards will be waiting. You consider your options. You have already thought about claiming to be a herbalist, come to treat a guard with a fever. You could pose as a trader or an artisan, perhaps a carpenter. You could even be a nomad seeking shelter for the night. As you ponder the possibility, nomads, they don't seek shelter for the night. They bring their own shelter with them, don't they? Proper nomads, I mean, seriously. As you ponder the possibilities and the yarns you will have to spin to the guards, you reach the main trail leading up to the gates. Excuse me. I need to drink some water. Because it is morning here, and every morning I have to drink a bit of water, and before I get hydrated, I cough a bit. So I'm sorry about that. You reach the main trail leading up to the gates. 2 lanterns burn on either side of the portcullis. You hear muffled gruntings as you approach, and 2 misshapen creatures step forward. On the left stands an ugly creature with the head of a dog and the body of a great ape, flexing its powerful arms. Its opposite number is indeed its opposite, with the head of an ape and the body of a large dog. This latter guard approaches you on all fours. It stops some meters in front of you, raises itself on its hind legs, and addresses you. Which story will you opt for? Will you pose as a herbalist? Will you claim to be a tradesman? Or will you ask for shelter for the night? I'm going to pose as a herbalist, because I know that works. The ape dog asks to see your herbs. Luckily, you grabbed a few handfuls of weeds on your way, and you show them. Cocking its head to one side, the creature eyes you suspiciously. It asks you for the name of the guard you have come to treat, something you hadn't planned on. You quickly think of a name to bluff the creature with. Kiltrog, Pincus, or Pincus. Pincus. I'm going to get Pincus. Or Blag. Well, I know Blag works. I don't know if the other ones work. Maybe the other ones work too. At least one of them probably doesn't work, I would guess, but I'm not going to go for that one. I'm going to go with the one I know works. So, the creatures look at each other as if the name sounds familiar, but they can't quite place it. You quickly add that he is on the first floor watch. They shrug and eventually decide you may be telling the truth. The ape dog summons the gatekeeper, who eventually appears to let you in. Turn to 251. Okay. You walk forward into a spacious open courtyard surrounded by large walls. Various lights are burning, and groups of figures are shuffling around in the darkness. In the center of the courtyard is a large monument of some kind, perhaps a fountain. Looking across the yard, you can see what appears to be the main entrance to the tower. Will you creep around the wall towards the tower, stride boldly across the courtyard, or tiptoe through the shadows towards one of the groups? Now, I've been doing this both times I've played now, and tiptoeing through the shadows does seem like it might be the right way to go about it. It certainly seems beneficial. I will still do that. Cautiously and keeping well out of sight, you creep through the darkness around the edge of the courtyard. There are 2 groups of creatures in front of you. To the right, you can see 2 human-like figures talking under a torch fastened to the wall. To the left, a group of 4 creatures of varying shapes and sizes are sitting around a fire, eating. Will you approach the 2 by the torch, or the group around the fire? Now, of course, I noticed last time I played, I approached the first time I approached the 2 by the torch, which was fine. And the second time I approached the ones around the fire. If I do the ones around the fire, I'm still given the option of checking out the ones by the torch afterwards, but not the other way around. So that seems to be the correct way to go about it, is to examine the group around the fire. So I'm going to go over there. A motley crew sit around the fire. A warty-faced orc is handing out scraggy chunks of half-cooked meat to the others. A snarling dwarf with green skin is complaining about the size of his piece, while 2 scruffy goblins, a man and a woman, are cuddling each other. They giggle and laugh, and every so often she slaps his ugly face, causing more merriment. As you approach, they stop and turn around to look at you with unwelcoming faces. They sneer at your neat appearance, and the female goblin whispers some comment to her mate. In the front of the dwarf, you can see an open box. You can just make out a vial of liquid within it. Would you sit down with them and around the fire? Ask them whether you may join them. So those are the two options. I'm not going to ask whether to join them because I just sit down and that seems to work, and they sort of seem to respond to that slightly more authoritarian, determined, confident kind of style. So I'm going to go with 134. They are taken aback by your audacity. Rather than waiting for them to talk, you act aggressively and demand to know how to get into the Citadel. They point to the main entrance, obviously a little bewildered by your confident manner, and whisper amongst themselves. The orc tells you that you will need the password, scimitar, to get in. You ask about the vial of liquid within the box, whereupon they get agitated. Will you press them for more information about the vial? Turn to 60. Leave them and head for the two men you saw earlier, or press on towards the Black Tower. So, I will press them for more information about the vial. I think this is going to be beneficial in the long run doing that. So, the creatures become suspicious as you press them for information. The dwarf springs to his feet, brandishing a wooden club, while the goblin and the orc grab swords and glare at you. The goblin's mistress shrieks and steps back several paces as the others advance towards you. You'll have to fight them. You may use a magic spell. Now, I did try levitation the first time I encountered these people, if you can call them people. It didn't seem to work. Illusion, I can't see how that would work either. I'll just fight. I'll just fight them. I'm not going to waste any spells on these mongrels. Not really mongrels, I know they're pure bloods. Probably. You draw your sword just in time as the dwarf is almost upon you. Fight each in turn. So we have... I got 12-18, so 12-18, I'll just put that down there. The dwarf is 5-6, followed by a 6-4 and a 5-7, each in turn. I may escape. I'm not going to escape because I want to win over these people here. There we are. So, combat, I'll just reiterate quickly for potentially new viewers, although you really should watch these in order so you get the whole flow of the game. When you have combat, you roll normal combat. There are some combats with special rules, but normal standard combat, you take two six-sided dice, and you roll once for your opponent, and you add the number to their skill. So for starting with the dwarf here, they got a skill of 5, so I'm rolling 5 plus 2 dice, so he rolls 4, so that gives him a total of 9. That's his attack score. Then I roll 2 dice for myself and add it to my skill. My skill is 12. I roll 6, so that is 18 attack score. And you compare those two numbers. If one is higher than the other, then the one with the highest number injures the other for 2 stamina points. So we reduce the stamina of 2. And if it's equal, then nobody gets injured because you've just been parrying each other's attacks. In this case, mine is definitely higher, and he is down to 4 hit points, as I call it, because that's a Dungeons and Dragons term that I'm used to. He rolls 5. I roll 7. Technically, I didn't need to roll for myself there because he couldn't have beat me, but I'll still do both rolls because it just keeps the rhythm better and it keeps it a bit neater. So he rolls an 8 and I rolled a 3. Mine is still higher, so he is dead. The next opponent has a skill of 6, so he's a little bit stronger. He still needs to roll really well if he is going to beat me, so that doesn't work for him. So he rolls an 8 and I rolled a 10. He is also down to 0. Last one's got a skill of 5. He rolls a 10. I rolled a 10. Now, also in these battles, I do have the option of using my luck to increase the damage or to reduce the damage done against me. But luck is usually so precious that you want to keep it for something else more important. Often it is the difference between life and death, indeed, literally in this game. Well, not literally, but literally in the game, for your game persona, your character in the book. Right, so I beat those 3. I win and I go to 235. I still haven't looked at my map now. That's because I know exactly what I'm doing so far. I'll just look at the map when I get to a point now that I haven't been before. Right, afraid that the commotion may have attracted attention, you peer out into the darkness. Nothing seems to be happening. And going through the pockets of the creatures, you find 8 gold pieces. So we've got... let's make my 8 gold. Copper-colored key and the jar of dark creamy ointment. I suppose I should choose. I have to choose 2 of these, so I can take the gold, the key, or the ointment, but only 2 of those 3. I also find... Oh, I'll just keep reading because that's into... Yeah. Turning to the vial of liquid, you can make out an inscription on the lid written in runes. Your heart leaps as you realize that this is a potion of magic with a K, and is very rare. Within the vial is enough liquid for 2 doses, and each has the effect of raising your magic score by 1 point, allowing you the energy to use 1 extra spell. You may take this potion with you to use after using any spell. When you drink the potion, you need not cross the spell off your list, so that is brilliant to get 2 extra spells. Remember, this potion will only work twice. And also the great thing about this potion is, of course, you can choose which spell you're keeping after the fact, which is means that one of the spells you might have just 1 of. When you use it, you might want to preserve it to keep it for another day as well. So, gold. I don't know. I got fool's gold. I'm wondering if I should skip the gold. I'll take the ointment and the copper key. And there was one potion of magic, of course, potion magic, and 2 uses. Right, so those are the things I got. Now you may carry on either towards the Citadel, turn to 245, or over to the 2 men talking by torchlight, turn to 269. So we are here, and there is... The 2 men are dirty and unkempt. As you approach, you can hear them arguing loudly about the price of a dagger. The taller of the 2 is obviously trying to sell the dagger to the other. He argues that the dagger is enchanted and is worth more than the other is willing to pay for it. As you come closer, he grabs you by the arm and asks you for your opinion on the price of the weapon. What will you say? 5 gold pieces, 8, or 10? Now, I know that if I say 10 gold pieces, the tall man is going to say that the other one's going to just go away because that's too high for him. And he will say that he can sell it to me for 9, which is okay, I guess. And I can make a fool's gold spell to create 9 gold pieces to pretend to give to him. If I say 8, he's going to stick to 8, and the other one is not willing to pay more than 7, so he's going to go off in a huff, and you are then allowed to buy it for 8 gold pieces. And there's a typo in the book there as well, because at this point, obviously, you could have had 8 gold pieces if you kept the 8 from the previous battle, but you're only given the option of using a fool's gold spell again. Or if you say 5, I don't know what happens, actually, if you say 5. But I presume that the seller will be a bit angry. I'm thinking maybe there's going to be a battle. But if there is a battle, maybe I can get the dagger without having to pay for it or use a spell for it, is what I'm thinking. Is that a good thought? It's an interesting thought, and I will therefore have a little look at my map now and see if I can... Yes, so we've got... I shall try to say that it's worth 5 gold pieces, just to see what happens, because I've tried the other 2 options now. Okay, so... The tall man is outraged by your price, but the other agrees. The argument becomes more intense, and the taller man draws his sword. The shorter man does likewise, and as you are threatened, so do you. Ooh, nice. Battle. it is you and the shorter man against the tall man. Oh, 2 against 1. That's a bit interesting. You must resolve this battle. Before starting each attack round, roll 1 die. If the number is odd, the tall man will attack the shorter man first, and you personally may ignore that attack round, although you must still roll for the short man. If the number is even, the tall man goes for you, and the shorter man can ignore that attack round. If the shorter man dies during the battle, the taller man will finish off the battle with you. Okay, so that means that's not quite the normal rules of fighting 2 opponents, because normally I should have been able to injure him as well, but that's all right. So tall man 8-8, and he's quite a strong bloke. I'm still on 12-18, of course, and the shorter man is on 7-6. So let's do this. And so first I roll 1 die to see which one the taller man attacks. Let's see. Well, there's short man is still. Yeah. Okay. So we're only doing 1 at a time, depending on who he attacks. So odd number, tall man attacks short man. Okay, odd number. So he attacks the short man. So so the tall man he's got a skill of 8. He rolls an 11. And the short man's got a skill of 7. He rolls a 12. That is actually a draw. So that's no injury during that round. Next round, he rolls a 2, so he attacks me. And the tall man, skill 8, rolls a 4. I rolled an 11, so he is now down to 6 hit points. Next round, I roll an odd, so that means he attacks the short man again. So he rolls 7, so that's an attack roll of 15. Short man got a hit in on him, and it's down to 4. New attack round, he attacks the short man. Tall man rolls a 10, short man rolls a 7, so that is the short man getting injured. New attack round, rolls a 2, he attacks me, he rolls 12. I roll a 12, oh my. So he's down to 2 hit points. Next round, he attacks me. Tall man rolls a 4, I roll a 9, and he is dead. Right, so. When the battle has been resolved, turn to 309 if the shorter man is still alive. So we've got... So we've got... Okay, he's still alive, so 309 alive. 368 killed. Of course, if he were killed, both of them would be dead, which probably would have been advantageous to me, but... Right, so... 309. You both go through the tall man's pockets. You find 20 gold pieces, which you split equally. So that is 10 gold in that case. And you toss up for the dagger. Heads you get it, tails he does. Toss a coin for this. I don't have a coin on me right now. So I'm just going to say even or odd. So even I get it, odd he gets it. So, okay, I get it. So if you get the dagger, turn to 15. So, if not, turn to 245. So that is, I'm going there or there. So I'm going to 15. So that seemed to work okay. The dagger is indeed a work of art and was undoubtedly worth a fair price. The blade is made of shiny metal and the hilt is a peculiar green leather with inlaid stones. You read an inscription which tells you that this is an enchanted throwing dagger which never misses. In a future combat, you may use this dagger to throw at an opponent. It will automatically inflict 2 stamina points of damage without the need to roll for attack strength. So that is very useful in the future. So I've got throwing dagger. And it's one of those things I mustn't forget to use. It's so easy to forget these things. I might die before I get to use it, as usual. So you automatically strike a hit, really, instead of rolling for attacks, which is fine. 245. So I've got 245. You set off towards the Citadel. Although the night air is calm, you hear a faint whistling, which rapidly gets louder and louder, until a strong gust of wind suddenly hits you with such force that you can barely move against it. You shield your eyes until the blast retreats slightly, and as you open them, you see a ghostly female face inside what appears to be a living whirlwind. That's quite a nice picture there. She mouths words at you which you cannot make out, but some seconds after she has finished talking, the message reaches you. She seems to find your appearance offensive and is challenging you with words of abuse. You grab at your sword, but she laughs. Will you ignore her and continue? Talk to her, or use your magic to see her off? I know magic works, but I don't know if she's actually going to injure me or anything if I don't do anything. I'll try something new, but I'll try to talk to her. I'll try to use magic. I'm just going to continue this time. So see, lots of these things have 3 options, which is very nice now that I'm playing it for the 3rd time. I can actually try the 3rd option. Excuse me. She is deeply insulted by your indifference. The whirlwind rises once more, and this time she knocks you off your feet. You try crawling forward, but she positions herself in front of you in whichever direction you turn. You will have to try to outwit her. But how will you start? Make your anger obvious to her. 10 to 106. I'll talk to her. Try to pacify her. So that is... Oh, that's the wrong color. So 390 again is an option. That means testing luck. I don't like testing luck unless I have to. I'm going to make my anger obvious to her. I don't think she's just playing around. I don't think it's going to be any dangerous to me if I do that. Well, here's hoping. When she does the little whirlwind, I mean, how much damage can she possibly do? Oh, she laughs again and tells you she likes to see people getting angry. Okay, in good humor, she accompanies you for several meters. Conversation is difficult. Well, I suppose it's like a lagging conversation on Skype, isn't it? If it takes several seconds before I can hear what she says. She sees something in the distant shadows and nips off to investigate, allowing you to advance to the Citadel's main entrance. I like how she's nipping off. I like nipping off as well. It's a nice word, to nip off. Just nip off to the kitchen to get something to drink. 10 to 218. And my lips are quite dry today. Right. 218. In front of you is a large wooden door, firmly locked. You may either knock 3 times for the guard, turn to 118, or you may use a strength spell to try to open it. Of course, I'll call for the guard because I do know the password, which is scimitar. The door opens and a large brutish creature steps out. It has a sharp horn in the middle of its forehead, and its skin appears to be armor-plated. It grunts to ask you what you want and demands the password before letting you in. Do you know the password? If so, turn to 273. I've got the password, thank you very much. Is the password scimitar, Ganges, or Kraken? It's scimitar, so I'm going with scimitar, 371. The first time I played this, of course, I didn't have the password because you have to get to the people around the campfire to get the password. I did manage to get in anyway, didn't I? I did have to test for luck, I think. The creature grunts and opens the door to let you in. Turn to 177. I'll just have a look at my map now, just make sure yes, there we are. Just so I know where I am, so I can plan my route further on. You are in a narrow hallway. This continues for several meters and ends in a doorway. Halfway along the passage, you can see an archway where some steps lead downwards. I like this one because it's so poetic, because it says hallway, doorway, halfway, and archway. I mean, how many more ways can there be? My way or the highway? Will you go forwards to the door, 25, or creep down the steps, 2344? Now, going down the steps was interesting. Lots of things happening down the steps, but I'm wondering if I should... There's so many things I can check out here. Still haven't checked out the door here properly. I'm going to just go in and have a look. Famous last words, isn't it? Oh, I'll just go in and have a look. I've done this before, and yeah. You try the handle of the door and it turns, opening into another hallway. Some distance along, the passageway turns to the right and ends shortly in another door. On this door is a sign which reads, "Please ring for butler." A rope, evidently the bell, hangs by the door. Will you ring as instructed? Or try the door handle? I know that if I try the door handle, there's an alarm that goes off. Oh, hang on. Did I map this wrong? It looks like I mapped it wrong because I did try the door handle the first time, didn't I? I'll just check now because... yes, I actually wrote this in the wrong place. This is... Door handle is test lock. Okay, so that is not the right one. So that's supposed to go there and that's supposed to go there. I wrote it on the wrong thing. Okay, let's see. I'm just ringing the bell now just to see what happens, because that's one of the fun things about playing these games over and over again, is to try different things. Oh, Spider-Man. He looks a bit different from in the movie franchise, doesn't he? Anyway, after several moments, the door opens slowly and a hunchbacked, misshapen creature with rotten teeth. Oh, hang on, that's not the Spider-Man. Okay, that's the one I'm seeing now. That's the butler. Okay, so after several moments, the door opens slowly and a hunchbacked, misshapen creature, another misshapen creature, I think there are lots of them here, with rotten teeth, ragged hair, and tattered clothes, stands in front of you. "Yes, sir. What can I do for you?" growls the half-human creature. "I am expected," you reply, and walk past him through the door with confidence. He's a little bewildered by your manner and stammers, not knowing whether to challenge you or not. "Which way to the reception room?" you demand. He squints at you through one eye and motions towards a left fork in the passageway a short distance ahead. Will you believe him and take the left fork, or do you distrust this shifty creature and take the right fork? So, the right fork I took the first time when I didn't see the butler, when actually I just walked in through the door, and that led into a trap, which led down into a cell, which led to the end of the game. Of course, it is possible to escape, I presume, but I did not have the spell to do that. I'm thinking that perhaps I should do the left fork, because that's what I was intending anyway. Although, interestingly, now the left fork is a different paragraph from the one that I was given earlier, but that doesn't necessarily have anything to say. So, so from 40 here. Okay, so that's... I'm either going to number 2, or I'm going to this one up here. And of course, my map is going to get even more messy now because it's the third time I've been drawing on it. And that's 243, the left fork. Left fork. I'm going to go with the left fork. Maybe all of these are the wrong way. Maybe it's you have to go down the stairs. So, the passage runs along for several meters and then ends at a door. You listen at the door and can hear a deep, heavy breathing coming from inside, as if some large creature were asleep in there. Cautiously, you try the handle and the door opens. Just inside, although the room is dark, you can see that a very large goblin-like creature is asleep on the floor. You may either risk tiptoeing into the room, turn to 352, or you may return to the fork and try the right-hand passage, number 2. So number 2, going back there is an option. Now, of course, I might go into the trap again and see if that works. If I have no other options, of course, I would have to, wouldn't I? So 352. Well, I've seen this one before. I think the picture is in Out of the Pit, the Fighting Fantasy Monster manual. So yeah, definitely seen that before. It's a very nice picture. You tiptoe into the room. The room is gloomy and the air is damp. A crude wooden post is nailed to one wall with several hooks on it. So this one here. There are 2 doors in the far wall leading onwards. Oh, 2 doors even. On the post hanging on the wall is a makeshift mirror, but as your torch lights up the mirror, its reflection is thrown across the eyes of the sleeping giant, who grunts and stirs. One eye opens, then another, and seeing you, it springs to its feet. It grabs an axe, which it was using as a pillow. That's quite a hard pillow, isn't it? It quickly undoes the leather sheath to reveal a sharp bronze head. This giant creature is a Gark. Large and brutish, Garks are half goblin, half giant, bred by master sorcerers for their aggressive character. Although somewhat stupid, they are rather tough beasts with warlike nature. So it's a bit like the Uruk-hai, I suppose, in Lord of the Rings, in a way. They'll certainly have some of the same features. So, make a dash for the doors, draw your sword, apologize for disturbing the creature, or prepare to use a spell. Right, so we have 4 options and no room on my map. I'll just do this one here as well, sorry. Okay. We have 216, apologize. 203 doors. 16 sword or 11 spell. Now this sounds like a moment to use a spell. You may use either a Fool's Gold spell, a Creature Copy spell, an ESP spell, or a Weakness spell. I've got ESP, I've got Weakness, I've got Fool's Gold, and I've got Creature Copy. I'm thinking Weakness because it looks like quite a strong one. So let's see. Weakness, 152, weakness. I'm going to go with the weakness. Because I want to keep my weakness spell for later, so I'm going to use one of my magic potion sips. There we are. You cast your spell and the creature stops in its tracks, not quite sure what has happened to it. With some effort it picks up its axe and comes towards you, but is evidently not such a strong adversary as before. You draw out your sword to finish the Gark off. Now it's got skill 5, stamina 5. I don't know what it had before, but obviously it must have been more. That's quite an easy battle in that case. Now it's a successful spell, so that's the 152. 52 weakness. Of course, now I didn't do the other spells. Just put a few arrows out there so we know there are some other options. I'm not going to do the full mapping there, it's going to make it more messy at the moment. So 5, 5. And then I'm going to 180 when I win the battle. Oof, I shouldn't say when, should I? It's like sort of famous last words again. Right, so I've got 12, 18. He's got 5, 5. I am rolling first for him. He rolls 9. I roll a 7. He is down to 3 hit points. He rolls an 8. I roll a 10. He's down to 1 hit point. He rolls 9 and I roll a 3. That's still me injuring him, or my injuring him rather, and he is dead. So 180. The great Gark lies dead on the ground. You wait for a minute to see whether the commotion will attract any guards, but all appears to be safe. Now, because there's been a few paragraphs like this now, I'm wondering if at some point you will actually... Oh, yes. Find some guards running at you after you've done something. You go through the creature's effects, but find little of value. Inside a pouch strung around its waist are 6 gold pieces, so I'm now up to 16 gold pieces. And an ornate hairbrush. Now, the hairbrush was an item I was able to use last time. Of course, that was when I went through the downstairs. It will remain to be seen. I presume at some point I will sort of get back to where I was last time, if I survive that long. Hairbrush. You may take these with you if you wish. You decide to continue onwards, turn to 99. So let's see. So that is 6 gold and hair brush. And I am going to 99. I'm presuming that's going to be the same there. 99. Will you take either the left-hand door or the right-hand door? So we've got an interesting choice of doors. So we've got 52 left or 38 right. Don't really have a preference, do I? Let's see number 52. That's one of those places you get to all the time in Warlock of Firetop Mountain, isn't it? I'll go to 52. I'll go 52. The door opens and you stride onwards, slamming it shut behind you. A short distance ahead you reach a 3-way junction where you take the northwards passage. Why? This continues for several meters, leading to another door. You can hear laughter and merriment on the other side. Cautiously open the door into a large room where a party of a dozen or so creatures of all shapes, sizes, and colors are playing games. And to step into the room, a voice shouts, "Look, this must be Glasdow's foot," whereupon they all welcome you, inviting you to join the fun. Evidently they are expecting someone and have mistaken you for their missing guest. Well, I suppose the missing guest might suddenly show up, so it's a bit risky, but will you play along and join them? Or will you tell them that they are mistaken and try to make your way over to the door on the other side of the room? So, right, interesting choices again. So play along 385, play along, or 227 cross room if possible. I'm going to play along because that is usually more interesting in these kinds of games, isn't it? I mean, in role-playing games, these kinds of situations are usually the ones that are the most memorable and fun in the end. They clap you on the back and welcome you in. A dark-skinned, wiry creature thrusts a mug of grog into your hand. You drink the ale down in one. Another mug comes, add 2 stamina points, as the ale is quite refreshing. I don't have any stamina loss yet. Then they invite you to join in their games. Will you play Knifey, Rune Stones, or Six Pick? Okay. Knifey sounds good because I've got high skills. So I should be able to, if it is what I think it is, I should be able to do rather well. So we got stamina +2. So 3, 6, 5, 2, 7, 8, or 171. Knifey. The rune 6 pick. Okay, so I'm going to play Knifey. You have chosen a deadly gambling game which is outlawed in most kingdoms. Since you have chosen to play, you must play at least one game, but you may play more if you wish. Your game's master is an apprentice sorcerer, and he has selected a choice of prizes for you. If you survive, you may claim either 2 extra spells, 50 gold pieces, or an enchanted breastplate, which will allow you to deduct 2 points from a creature's dice roll when throwing for its attack strength. Ooh, nice. The game is played like this. 6 daggers lie on a table, so this is like a Russian roulette. One is a real weapon, while the other 5 have spring-loaded blades and will do you no harm. You are playing the game against one of the other creatures in the room, and only one of you will survive. In turn, you must select one of the daggers and stab yourself in the chest with it. If the dagger is real, death is certain. If it is a dummy, it must be returned to the table to be shuffled back in with the other 5. So it's a little bit of a variety on Russian roulette. The game continues until one of you selects the real dagger and stabs yourself through the heart, whereupon the survivor can claim the prize. Your opponent will make the first selection. Throw 1 die for him, then do the same for yourself. As soon as one of you rolls a 6, the real dagger has been chosen. If this is you, you will have killed yourself. Now, knowing the rules of the game, you can only get out of playing at least once by casting an illusion spell. Otherwise, you must play. After you have played, you may either play 6-pick, runestones, or you may bid your friends farewell and leave the room. I don't know. I'm up for a game. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go do it. Okay, so your opponent rolls first, so he's supposed to roll a 6 ideally now. So okay, so he should roll a 5. So he didn't kill himself. Roll for myself. I didn't kill myself, and he killed himself. He picked the dagger. So that means that I get 2 more spells, and I could do with maybe I should go with another shielding spell, and one more illusion spell, one more fire spell. One more illusion spell. Oh, hang on. I wasn't supposed to take the spells. I'm supposed to take the breastplate. Sorry. So 1 and 1. I'm going to take the breastplate because I'll be completely invincible in hand-to-hand combat after this. Breastplate and +2, I think. So that gives me a huge advantage when fighting later. So I think playing that one time is probably best to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave now and go to 31. Get out of this room. I'll check out the other game some other time, maybe. You leave the games room through the door in the far end of the room, which opens into a short passageway ending at a large wooden door. The handle on this door turns, letting you into a large chamber turned to 169, and that is also where I changed pages last time, which means that this is, so 169, means my map is working perfectly. And I am now here, so 169. And the thick plottens, or the plot thickens, depending on whether you do the spoon-wrist version or not. The room you're in is some sort of grand dining hall. A long table, large enough to seat some 40 or 50 people, stands in the center, edged with chairs. Various doors and passageways lead from the room, but you are particularly interested in 2 wide staircases which lead upwards to either end of a balcony overlooking the hall. Paintings and suits of armor decorate the walls. The room is empty. Will you take the left-hand staircase? I'm not doing that. The right-hand staircase, I might do that, but investigate the paintings or investigate the suits of armor. Now, if you do investigate the paintings, I managed to get +1 luck and -1 stamina. That's not very useful. I'm going to investigate the armor this time. in case there is anything interesting going on there. You never know. The suits of armor are a variety of shapes and sizes, and you shiver to think of the strange creatures they must have been made for. Perhaps you may yet come across some of them. As you examine one particularly grand suit, its hand suddenly rises and whacks you across the face. You stagger back, spitting blood. Lose 2 stamina points. Okay, so... No, shouldn't do that either. But the armor makes no further move, so basically you shouldn't really look at the armor. Okay, go away. Okay. And you decided maybe prudent to continue upstairs, either up the left-hand staircase or the right-hand staircase. The left-hand staircase is a trap, so I'm going to go to the right. The stairs are well worn and creak under your weight. Cautiously, you climb up to the balcony, turn to 363. So I'm at 363 there. Let's see, 363. Along the balcony are 3 doors. Will you try the left door, the center door, or the right door? Now, there was a bit of a sort of weird thing how you couldn't try all of them last time, but I will start with the left one again because I'm a bit curious about the hairbrush. I'll get to that in a moment if you haven't seen last episode. The locked door is very strong and made of solid oak. It is unlikely you will break it down, but you may try. Otherwise, you could use a strength spell to smash it. The lock is copper, and you could try using a copper key, which I do have. So I'm going to use a copper key, go to 296. That is the right key, I know that. 296. The key turns and the door opens. Turn to 292. So, the room is an elegant bedchamber, plushly decorated with fine lace and a fur carpet. In the center of the room is a large 4-poster bed. Sitting up in the bed, evidently awakened by all the commotion, is a beautiful sylph-like woman with long dark hair and deep piercing eyes. "What right have you in here?" she screams at you. With those words, her eyes turn blood red and 2 jets of liquid fire shoot from them directly at you. Will you create a shielding spell, or leave the room, or tell her you have a special gift for her? Now, I'm going to tell her I have a special gift, and I'm thinking maybe the hairbrush. That's worth a try. She blinks and the jets of fire disappear. What will you offer her? A silver mirror, that's what I tried last time. I don't have one now, of course. A hairbrush, or a jar containing a Spider-Man. I think maybe there's sort of 3 different paths you may have ended up doing in the middle section again here now, just like in Firetop Mountain, where you get different things that do different things later. I'm going to go with a hairbrush this time, so I'm going to go to 91. She looks at your offering and her eyes widen. "Let me see that," she commands. You carefully advance towards her and hold out the brush. She snatches it and spends several moments admiring it. "This is indeed a work of art," she says, and she gets out of bed to try it in front of her mirror. As she brushes her hair with it, her hair takes on an unusual sheen, glimmering softly. She is fascinated with your gift, and now is your chance to leave unnoticed through a door in the far corner. You may try to take with you a golden fleece which is lying on the bed. Test your luck. If you're lucky, you manage to snatch it quickly and can leave through the other door. If you're unlucky, you may test your luck again until you are finally lucky. Or if luck is not with you, you may ignore the cumbersome thing and leave anyway. Okay, so golden fleece. I don't know, golden fleeces are usually quite good, aren't they? I mean, Jason, he went all the way across the world to get it, and it seemed like a big deal. Well, if she's... Oh yeah, I'll see what's going on now. Maybe she's a kind of a... Not quite a Medusa, but a sort of a similar thing, because there was the Medusa that was guarding the golden fleece in Jason and the Argonauts. And of course you need a mirror to defeat a Gorgon. And that's why she doesn't like a mirror, because... Yeah. But a hairbrush, yeah, of course. It makes sense. It's a nice little twist on mythology there. I commend you, Steve Jackson. Very clever stuff there, very clever. So the hairbrush works. And I am going to try to take the golden fleece because golden fleeces are useful. So there we are. Luck 10. I'll test my luck. And I make it, and that was my first luck roll. And my luck goes down to 9. For new viewers, every time you test luck, whether it's in combat or when you're told test your luck in the book, and you roll for it, whether you make it or not, your luck is reduced by 1. It may go up later, but yeah, it's reduced when you use it. So I'm taking the golden fleece, removing my hairbrush, and then I'm turning to 140. You leave the room and head down a short corridor. Some meters down, you find yourself at the foot of a staircase. This is a spiral staircase. Hang on, did I not see this one before? No. This looks familiar. Oh, just similar to something I've been at the other time. I'm sure I'll get to the same place eventually. This is a spiral staircase which leads right up into the Citadel tower. Climb the stairs cautiously and eventually arrive on a small landing with 2 doorways in front of you. Aha, so there we are. That's the... So I'm here, and I am getting then to this bit where I can choose left or right. Now, last time I chose left and didn't seem to... get anywhere with the Ganges. That's where I died. So I'm going to turn right this time to avoid the Ganges, even though I do have a levitate spell, so I might have been okay this time. You try the handle and it turns. The door is stiff and you must shove it open. The room inside is some sort of living abode. Tables, chairs, shelves, and a collection of animal heads on the wall. There is a plush pile carpet on the floor. Suddenly one of the animal heads turns and looks towards you. It is some kind of dog, and it barks loudly in a tone which is a warning, both to you and to any of its cronies which may be within earshot. As you watch the head, you do not notice a carpet which flies up off the floor and whisks past you, clipping your ear. Spin round in time to see one of the chairs, slowly reforming itself into a tall man. What business have you here? He booms. Will you try to talk with him? Use one of your spells? Search through your backpack for a weapon or a gift, or leave the room. So, lots of options here. So we've got, oh, careful not to bump into the camera there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 266 talk, 310 spell, 54 use item, and 25 leave. Now, do I have any items that might work here now? What have I got? I got a... I've used my copper key. I've got a golden fleece. I got ointments. It doesn't sound like something that would be useful in this case. Maybe I should try a spell. Maybe if I can use ESP, for instance, I might be able to find out what he's actually wanting. Or maybe I could just ask. I could ask him, couldn't I? Well, he is asking me, what business have you here? It makes sense, doesn't it, then to talk before going to other options. I'll talk to him. He's not interested in your chat, as your stories and questions your authority to be there. Without warning, he turns into a snake, hissing at you, and slithers across the floor towards you. Meanwhile, the dog head on the wall has detached itself and is now floating through the air towards you. You want to use a spell against him, or search for your backpack for something to use. So, okay, so again I'm given the option of spell. Or use item. Can't see having any items that would work against snake. Spell? Fire might work. I'm going to go with a spell, see what options I have. We'll use a creature copy spell. Okay, so creature copy. Illusion or ESP. So we've got copy, illusion, ESP. Well, creature copy certainly would give me help in battle. I might not need that because I'm, for all practical purposes, I've now got a skill of 14 because of my breastplate. Illusion, ESP. Illusion. I'll try an illusion. Maybe I'll try an illusion. ESP. I'm actually a bit curious about these creatures. I'll do an ESP, see if something comes up. Or maybe I should save my ESP for later. 393. No, I'll just use my ESP now. And I'll save it with my magic potion. So 393, there we are. You cast your spell and concentrate on the 3 changing creatures. Images flash before you. As you fit them together, you realize these creatures are MIKS, mix, and are able to transform themselves into, or mix, yes, mix. It's, the creature names of monsters often just written in capital letters. They are mix and are able to transform themselves into anyone or anything they wish. They are thinking of you and are not the least bit worried by your presence. More likely they see you as sport. Every so often, though, they are thinking of gold, and their emotions indicate a great greed. Perhaps this will be your passport to safety. If you have any gold pieces, turn to 27. If you have no gold, you had better leave the room quickly through the other door. Turn to 25. So that is interesting and useful information. I'm keeping my ESP, but that means I've finished my potion of magic. I do have gold pieces. I would have liked to kept them, but maybe they want to. So I'm going to go with the gold because, I mean, I could have left now, but maybe something else interesting happens if I give them gold. As you hold out the gold pieces, the 3 creatures stop in their tracks. They gasp as they look at your coins. An invisible hand snatches them from you and lays them on the ground. They look at you and a voice demands more. You pull out all your gold pieces and throw them into the center of the room. A voice rings out, "Well, stranger, you are indeed welcome here in the house of the Mix. We thank you for your gift. If you're heading on, take the door ahead of you, but beware of the Ganges. We wish you luck with your journey. You may add 1 luck point," which is back up again to 10 now. For the Mix, good wishes, and leave through the door ahead of you. Okay, so, that sort of worked. But I still have to meet the Ganges, it said, so 206, so that did not manage to avoid them, did I? So let's see. So I'll use that, and that means I went to 227. That's okay, so 27 or 25, and then I'm going to 206, and I'm getting very close now to where I died last time. Right, you leave through the door and find yourself at the foot of another spiral staircase leading up into the Black Tower. Climbing the stairs, you eventually come to a landing where a single door is the only way onwards. You try the door, it opens slowly, turn to 182. You feel yourself sucked into the room as if by magic. Your torch flickers and dies. The room is pitch black. Another typo, by the way, because you don't have a torch, you have a lantern. Not the same thing. From nowhere yet everywhere comes a mocking laugh which fills the room. "Foolish adventurer," says another voice, which changes its tone from high to low as it speaks. "Welcome to the home of the Ganges. Unfortunately, it will be the last room you will ever see. Ah, but of course, you cannot see, can you? But we can see you, we can't, we brothers. And laughing voices come from all around you. Suddenly, a ghostly white luminous face flies towards you. You recoil in horror, throwing yourself on the ground and begin to feel very frightened. Lose 1 skill, 2 stamina, and 1 luck. 11, 14, 9. What can I do here? So we've got options. Fire. Tried that last time, didn't work. Illusion. Some kind of artifact from my backpack. Oh, hang on, Gandias, they like gold too, maybe. So if I give them the golden fleece, wouldn't they be quite happy? Except that wasn't an option, was it? Ointment, amulet, or spider. Using a sword meant at the end, unless I could levitate. So I will have to try illusion because there are hardly any options left to me now. So hopefully that will give me something. You cast your spell and concentrate illusion. Of course, that's my last illusion now. You cast your spell and concentrate, creating the illusion that you are a powerful sorcerer and you are becoming tired of their pranks. But nothing happens. Again, a mocking laugh comes at you from all sides. We are magical creatures ourselves, says a voice, though not such amateurs as you. Suddenly you feel a blow in the middle of your back, which knocks you into the middle of the room. Lose 2 stamina points. Will you fumble in your backpack for something to use? Or draw your sword? If you have not yet tried a fire spell on them, you may do so. So, so that or sword. Backpack. But I don't have anything. Oh, hang on, I got the ointment, don't I? Is that going to be any useful? 291. Oh, okay, so I'm going to go check my backpack. Forgot about the ointment. Ointment. Doesn't sound like something that would work, but worth a try because I'm really running out of options now. So what will he pull from your backpack? Spider in the jar, don't have it. Charmed amulet, do not have it. Jar of ointment, do have that. 291. Let's see. 291. What is that? Demands a ghostly voice. You bargain with them. You will allow them to take the ointment if they will allow you through the room. You have no business with them. A ghostly hand appears from nowhere and tries to snatch the jar from your hand, but you whip it away quickly. It is indeed the ointment of healing, you hear one of the voices say quietly. Oh, we accept your offer, says a voice. Leave the jar where you are and leave through this door. A door in the far corner glows softly. You do not trust them and take the jar with you to the door. As you open the door, you fling the jar across the room and leave quickly. Turn to 328. Oh, okay, so that is... Oh, that's what I need then. Okay. Whoa. That's a 10 up for the books. Ointment. So right at the beginning there, when you got the ointment, that's... Yeah. Who would have thought? Okay, so ointment is the way to go. Okay, so I finally found the way to get past the Ganges. Right. 328. So we are upwards and onwards. Now this will be very exciting. Into unknown territory completely now. Oh. You close the door behind you and find yourself at the foot of yet another staircase, spiraling up into the tower. Climbing the stairs, you arrive at another balcony where a single door is the only way onwards. Trying the door, it opens easily, but as you push the door, a loud hissing noise comes from within. You step inside and turn cold as a huge six-headed hydra snakes towards you over the bodies of its previous victims. Its 6 serpent-like heads dart at you, with vicious pointed teeth. You cower into a corner. What will he do? So that's the hydra there. So, options. Creature copy. So Sounds like a good option right here, actually. I mean, a Hydra, if you cut off one head, then it grows another. Or so if you got two of them, they will just keep fighting endlessly, wouldn't they? Don't you think? Seems like a good option. So, backpack. That's the item. I call it item 143. Creature. Copy. Or sword. So, if this works like a normal Hydra, then that should be an endless battle, and if I use my sword, that is also an endless battle, except I can never win it. I'm going to use a creature copy spell, so I'll bring that down to 2. You concentrate and cast your spell. Hydra's torso appears, but that is all. The creature is sold out as a single spell, but not create a duplicate. If you have another creature copy spell, you may use it. Okay, so I'll need to use 2. That might be worth it, though. So let's see, 360. Creature copy again. Otherwise, you may look in your backpack for something, which I may or may not have. If you cannot or will not use either of these, turn to 184. So, I forgot to write down the paragraph for using my sword there. Let's check if that's the same one. That's 67. And then it's 184, so that is a different one. But I will cast another creature copy because it looks like using 2 of these might be worth it in this case. At least that's what I think. I mean, the sort of logic of it is that it is. You cast another spell, you partially formed Hydra grows a little more, but it's still not complete. You will need 1 more creature copy spell to form a whole creature. Ugh. If you wish to cast a 3rd spell, do so and let the Hydras fight to the death. Okay, I'll just use my last one then. So 10, 17, 10, 17. So Hydra, well, the other Hydra 7 versus 7, that is a draw. 6 versus 10, mine injures the Hydra. 4 versus 6, that is me again. 10 versus 8, my Hydra takes some damage. 12 versus 5, they're back on equal terms. 5 versus 6, 5 versus 4, 8 versus 5. The enemy Hydra draws ahead. 9 versus 7. 6, whoops, versus 5. 6 versus 6. 10 against 8. 9 against 7. And finally, maybe 3 versus 4. 9 against 7, and my Hydra is dead. If your creation wins 10 to 229, no it didn't. If your creature loses or you did not have enough spells, go to 184. Hope it keeps its hit points now if I have to fight it. Oh. While you are deliberating your next move, the Hydra advances. 2 of its heads dart out and bite you, one on your arm and the other on your neck. Its sharp teeth pierce your skin and bite deep. All is lost. You have failed in your mission. So this is indeed the end. Again. I mean, surely I should have been able to do something while they were fighting. I mean, that seems a bit unfair to me because they were preoccupied fighting. I could have done something else. But I presume this is one I need to beat, I suppose. But maybe this is where I need the golden fleece, though. I mean, I know my mythology. I should have gone for the golden fleece right away. But I just thought maybe I'd... Yeah, oh well. Okay, shall we do a... Okay, this might get... I mean, because next time I play this might get a little bit repetitive now. Should I presume that instead of making a creature copy spell, I'm going to save my game. I've saved my game just before the Hydra now, so I saved my game. I'm going to use an item and see if the Golden Fleece works. So I'm going to use... So this is my... Well, so this is my 4th playthrough as well now. And I'm going to do... So let's presume I did all the same stuff I did up until this point, just before when I got to the Hydra. And I'm going to choose to use an item. And so I get to this point here. So it says, you may pull from your backpack any one of the following if you have collected them. A silver mirror, a golden fleece, or a pocket myriad. I don't have the silver mirror or the pocket myriad this time. I had them last time, and I'm going to go with the golden fleece. So I'm with the golden fleece. Hang on. So let's see what happens. You draw out the skin and the creature hisses loudly. All its heads retreat and it remains still, watching you. There is a door on the far side of the room and you slowly make your way towards it. Halfway across the room, a head darts out and snatches the fleece from your hands. But instead of attacking you, the Hydra slinks back into a corner. You move on to the door cautiously. Turn to 229. Okay, so that sort of works. See, this is more exciting for you guys now, because if you'd had to watch another episode of me doing a lot of the same stuff over again, it would have started getting maybe a little bit boring. I may not make it yet, though. I don't know yet. So, so the golden fleece, and which takes us up to 229. You slam the door shut behind you. You follow a short, narrow passage which winds round and brings you to the foot of another staircase, reaching right up into the apex of the Citadel. A sign on the wall reads, "Halt!" or HALT, possibly. None may pass but by order of Baltus Dyer. You realize you are nearing your goal. Cautiously, you climb the stairs to the next landing, right up in the belfry of the Citadel. In front of you is a solid metal door. You try the handle, but the door is locked. You left a small flap and can see a small tumblers underneath. This is a combination lock, which can only be opened by those who know the combination. Do you know the combination? If so, turn to the section of the book with the same number. If not, you may either try to break the door down, turn to 50, or use a strength spell, turn to 164. So we have 50, break door, strength spell 164, all combination. So well, clearly I have to try this now, so I'm going to try to use a strength spell. Last ditch effort now. I presume Baltus Dyer is behind this door now, so this is very close. The door is solid metal and no amount of charging, even with a strength spell, will budge it. You fall to your knees after having come so far. Your mission has failed. Unable to go on, you will have to try again. This time looking for the combination on the way through. You may, if you have one, use a levitation spell to take you away out of the Citadel. You will have to try again tomorrow night. So now basically you can use the levitation spell and start from the beginning again, but yeah. Fair dues, I suppose. That is quite interesting. So we have so we need to get the combination, basically. So, I mean, the Hydra... So this is quite useful, I suppose, for me, even if I did a save game there, I only got one step further. One does need a combination, and I do not yet know how to get it, so there must be somewhere I've missed. Of course, there are still lots of places I haven't been yet. I need to get the combination. I'm sure that to get the combination, you need to use ESP on the right creature, because it's not something somebody would tell you. So I need to get some of, or one of Baltus Dyer's lieutenants, somebody who's would be authorized to go up into the tower with him, who would know the combination. So that concludes my third, and in a way my fourth playthrough as well. It was so short, the fourth one there. I'll just call it the third, the whole thing. And I'll be back later, maybe tomorrow, with another episode where I try to find more interesting things. But of course, again, this time I found some useful things. I know that the Golden Fleece probably is by far the best bet to get into the past the Hydra. So the correct path seems to be to get the hairbrush and to get the ointment, so you can get the Golden Fleece. And to get the hairbrush, of course, I have to go down into that path there. But I'm wondering, is there any other way to get past the lady with the... There might be, there might be, but the Golden Fleece, it just seems like... I'm not sure if there's any other way to get past the Hydra now, because I could try to fight it, and that would probably work fine with my stats. So... Because I presume it's not going to just kill you outright. I'll just check that, actually. Cheat a little bit. Yeah, no, you can't actually just fight it, because it's a Hydra and it will just regrow its heads and stuff. So, which means that the only way to get past the Hydra is to have the right item. The Golden Fleece works, maybe the other items work, I somehow doubt it. And the only way to get the Golden Fleece is to have a hairbrush, so that means there is somewhere along that same path I must be able to find the combination. So that will be interesting to see if I can find out next time. And yeah, maybe if when I went to the top of the landing in the dining hall, maybe you can try the other doors first. But I'm not sure, because it seemed like the other door I got to last time, there was a one-way street. You had to go through it and just keep going. There was no option of going back. So I'm sort of wondering if, yeah, it must be something else, something I missed, but I'll find it. I feel I'm very close now. I feel I'm very close to actually finding the right solution. So maybe I'll get it next time if I can sort of figure out exactly. I just have to study my map a little bit now and see if I can figure out where I should go to find what's missing. But very exciting game. I seem to be getting closer to a good combination of spells. They certainly seem to work for me this time. And yeah, interesting book still. I think it's a quite exciting thing. A few typos I've discovered now. Minor things, really, quite minor things. Nothing to write home about, really. And I'll be looking forward to my next run. I hope you will be looking forward to my next run as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day until next time we meet. And well, goodbye for now. Bye-bye.